Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Uranus square opposition or in conjunct the natal north node. Um, when you have transits that involve Uranus, they can be about freedom, independence, friendships, groups, clubs, organizations, disruptions, unanticipated events, aspirations, and goals. Now, when you have transit Uranus, well, basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal north node, I'm going to elaborate on that when I say basically adverse aspect. Of course, the squares and oppositions of those aspects are negative and adverse, but when you have an inconjunct aspect, that could be neutral. It is neutral, but the thing is, a neutral aspect can have good and bad qualities to it. So it does have some bad in it, and coupled with the fact that an inconjunct can require an adjustment, a transition, and of course that can in turn cause some tension and exasperation. So collectively, basically, I do see this as an adverse transit. Now, the thing about this is when you have transit Uranus basically making an adverse aspect to the natal north node, it's really, it can manifest in freedom, independence, friendships, groups, clubs, organizations, disruptions, unanticipated events, aspirations and goals. These things may conflict perhaps with one's future. And they're what you feel your destiny might be. You might be torn at this time between doing something that group related or friends, what they want. They may be trying to cajole you to do something for them, and you're trying to focus on your future, what your destiny is, what you feel your destiny is at this point in time. And it's interesting because Uranus and the North Node are they're very similar. Both are connected with the future. You might be torn in terms of maybe going with a certain direction toward your future. Where is it going to be? And this is where it can be, a very strong conflict at this time. Uranus is very comparable to the North Node. The North Node, though, is what you're supposed to emphasize in that latter part of life, say around like age 35 or so or older, somewhere in that general time, where Uranus could affect you, virtually any time really. So the thing about this is, again, the fact that the North Node is connected with the mission and the purpose. It can be a situation where some groups may be conflicting with what you feel your purpose is. Say if the natal North Node is in Pisces in the fifth house, for example, you might feel that your purpose is maybe constructing fantasy games, or maybe some writing that might be creative writing that involves fantasy or fiction, or something with hypothetical sports, maybe making some kind of game where you have like simulated sports matchups, something like that. And then the Uranus, the friendships and the groups, clubs, and organizations, those things may be trying to pull you away from what you're trying to direct yourself toward at this time. Now, the North Node is connected with the development of the positive attributes and qualities of the placement. Now, the thing about it is, you might be trying to get freedom to focus on that at this time, and that freedom might be hard to find, whether it's because you're at the mercy of some authority figure, or there's family matters, or there's something with neighbors, whatever it might be. There may be something that may be challenging this at this time. It might be something unanticipated with what I just described, since Uranus is connected with disruptions and events that can be very unpredictable and unexpected, to say the least. The thing about the North Node too is that the North Node is associated too with issues that one may have to address and confront. So it could be a time where there might be, you might have some kind of goal or aspiration that you're trying to attain, which can be connected with Uranus. And that may challenge at this time, perhaps where your issues that may come up that have to be addressed and confronted. If you have, say, the North Node, natal North Node in your sixth house, or even your first house, it could be, physical related matter that has to be taken care of, and you might have to put whatever your goals and aspirations, that futures might be put on hold for a little bit. And the thing about this too is when you're talking about the North Node, it's energy, where we're directed toward. It's moving forward. It's trying to go toward something. It's very progressive, forward-moving energy. And the thing is, when you have this transit, I mean, Uranus again is connected with disruptions, unanticipated events. It's also freedom and independence. You might feel that something might be inhibiting you from moving forward, having that freedom to go forward with whatever it is you are trying to do when this transit is taking place. Something else too about this transit is that, I mean, the North Node is associated with what you're aspiring to become, what you're learning to be. And this is a situation where you might have some interruption if you're trying to, again, develop the positive attributes and qualities of the placement, or you're trying to aspire to become something at this time. But you have a certain way you're trying to aspire to become something, whether it might be in a profession or it's the characteristics connected with the sign. I mean, if the North Node again is in Pisces, it could be you're trying to develop, you're trying to aspire to be maybe more forgiving, more compassionate, altruistic, going away from the South Node in Virgo energy, of course, in that example, which would be more judgmental, critical energy. It can be, this is some ways that this transit can manifest and pan out. And again, it's interesting that this energy is so similar to each other. It's really like, you're trying to, again, the future, they both could be connected with the future. And, again, it could be, really torn, really in where your future lies at this time when this transit takes place. Now, another way this transit may manifest, it could be that some cases friendships, again, I'll reiterate what I believe I said previously, the friendships may conflict with your future at this time. And the thing is, if the North Node is in Aquarius as an example, it could be some future you may feel you have with astrology or meteorology, computers, innovation, aerospace, or aviation as some examples. And also too, at this time, disruptions, unanticipated events may challenge what you're aspiring and learning to be at this time. Say, for example, if the natal North Node is in Virgo in the 8th house, it could be doing something with analytical, which is Virgo, or astrology, or psychology, which is associated with the 8th house, or could be doing something with some kind of forensic analysis as another example. Again, Virgo is very detail-oriented energy. 8th house can be connected with criminal investigation and criminal profiling. Another thing is that at this time as well, instability may challenge the development of the positive qualities and attributes associated with the placement. Now, say, for example, if the North Node is in Gemini, natal North Node is in Gemini in the 9th house, this could be perhaps developing manifold, which is Gemini, philosophies and beliefs, which of course that is associated with the 9th house. Now, as well, Uranus, anatomically speaking, is connected with the ankles, the shins, the calves, the nerves, and circulation. So at this time, especially if you've experienced these problems previously prior to the transit, these issues, the ankles, the shins, the calves, the nerves, the circulation, even in some cases it could be some unusual protrusion or growth. It may be something where it may challenge you going forward with your future at this time, what your mission, what you feel your purpose is at this point in time. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, say if the North Node is in a Capricorn in the fourth house, as an example, it could be perhaps trying to go forward with trying to attain some kind of structure and discipline and a consistency, which is Capricorn, in the home life, which is the fourth house, or it could also be planning, being very premeditative regarding the latter or end part of your life, getting ready for that and starting that nest egg, that home, whatever it might be, in order to have to attain that at this time. So anyway, and again, just reiterating what I said previously, it does make for an interesting transit because again, you're talking about both these energies are very comparable with each other. Uranus is the connected with the future goals, aspirations, and then the North Node is where you feel where the future and destiny lies, your mission, your purpose, and what you're aspiring to become and learning to be. So again, it could be like a little tug of war going on with where you need to be, directed toward. And the thing is that keep in mind the North Node is connected with where you're really directed toward. And the North Node placement in your natal chart is where you're being directed toward, whereas the South Node is what you're going away from. The North Node is supposed, as far as where you're aspiring to be, that is where you are actually meant to be, and more so emphasized in that second or latter part of life, which is, I would say, like 35 or older, roughly. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.